How many people do you know who struggle with their health? Chances are, whether they show it or not, most of the people in your life do. And chances are, you're one of them. Whether you're dealing with anxiety, depression, endometriosis, acne, eczema, autoimmune, thyroid, Lyme, brain fog, fatigue, or any other symptom or condition, you're far from alone. Living with symptoms has become the new normal. So no more guessing games. It's time to get answers. Welcome to the Medical Medium Podcast. I'm Anthony William.
We're talking about the super flu. Now, there's more than just a super flu going around. There's COVID, one or two other flus, the norovirus, and of course a random RSV here and there. But what you won't find anymore, ever, are colds. Sure, people call it a cold if they have a mild flu. If that mild flu seems to be a little worse, they call it a bad cold. But there are no colds. They don't exist. It's just flus being released and let out of the gate. It's COVID's being released and let out of the gate in the labs, private classified labs. And none of these flus would exist anymore if they weren't continually manufacturing and creating them, engineering them, manipulating them, and even training them. And why? Why would they do that? For many reasons. Because it injures people, it kills people, slows down their lives, takes away the quality of many of their lives, weakens their bodies, weakens their minds, and allows them to experiment so they can create a more deadlier and deadlier and deadlier flu strain. And of course, because of the political atmosphere, the evildoers in the classified labs and the evildoers giving them direction love to release bad flus and COVID to shake up the political environment because the evildoers feel it's the last card they have. And it's where they have untouched control. And as years go on, these super flus and these flus and COVIDs and these bugs are going to get worse and worse and worse. So what we have to do is arm ourselves, protect ourselves, know how to kill these bugs off, build our immune systems, and beat these bugs down. Get ready for this episode of the super flu. Fasten your seatbelt, strap yourself in, because this is one episode you don't want to miss. I think my allergies are getting bad because, I don't know, my nose is running now. I've got the sniffles, a little bit of a sore throat, and I got a little bit of some sinus congestion. But my allergies get really bad different times. Yeah. No, I'm not worried about anything. I'm not going to give you anything. No, you're not going to catch anything from me. It's just my allergies. Some sniffles I get. Yeah. No, I wouldn't worry about it. I just wouldn't even worry. Yeah. No, I'm not contagious. There's no way. There's no way I'm contagious. That's not even possible because I get these allergies. Yeah. All right. Okay. You're nervous? Oh, wouldn't be. Yeah. It's just allergies. You hear somebody getting sick, they're sniffling, they got some congestion, they get a sore throat, and they're telling you it's their allergies right now. Run. Or at least be careful or mask up, because there's a very good chance it's one of the flus, or COVID, or RSV, or even the super flu, which is gaining a lot of speed right now. They call it the H3N2, a subclade K. And of course they got a name for it. They created it. And most likely, they stuck it inside of a flu shot, alive and well. And why would they do that? To spread it. Because that's the goal of biological warfare. That's the goal of the evildoers. They started the process in 1917, 1918, and they never stopped. Classified medical research and science, and the private independent funding behind them, and the goal to cull population is still going on now. And it's not changed. And it's never going to change Because the illumination, that's right, the Illuminati, the hierarchy, the evildoers behind the scenes, still want everybody to get sick, one way or another. They want people to have autoimmune because they're behind autoimmune disease. I've talked about that forever. The pathogen explosion is caused by the hierarchy behind the scenes, classified medical research and science. The ones in the shadows, the ones in the private clubs. Keep people sick with autoimmune, keep them sick with disease, symptoms and conditions, and then let out the flus, let out the COVID. It hasn't changed in over 100 years, and it's not going to change, at least anytime soon, if ever. Now, they have different methods in spreading the viruses that they're manufacturing and engineering. Sometimes they try dumping them out of the sky, not high up, but low, through the use of helicopters. But that's not usually the most efficient way of doing it, and it's not foolproof. And they know this. Another way they like to get the flu out is they enjoy getting volunteers. Volunteers that sign up to a pharmaceutical program, classified medical research and science pharmaceutical program, a program that agencies are actually affiliated with. They then expose these volunteers to the new strains of flu. Then they go about their business and spread it in the workplace or anywhere else, like the grocery stores, restrooms, and public places. They're given a list to ensure the best places to actually spread the virus. And after their 2 weeks are up, don't worry, there won't be a whistleblower, ever, because they'll be disposed of. But the most successful way they spread the flu, and flu varieties, and COVID varieties, are through the flu shot itself. The fresh, alive viruses are protected and preserved, and then placed inside the solution, which eventually fills the little bottles that they then draw a solution from with a syringe and then injecting it into the person. It's called the flu shot. Not every flu shot has this. Not every flu shot around the world has this. There's a lot of different batches. Some batches have dead viral material. Some batches have no viral material. And some batches have the actual virus they want to spread. Person gets the flu shot. They get sick shortly after. They come down with the flu. Happens all the time. And nurses and hospitals even know this. There's a good chance from personal experience, when you get the flu shot, you may come down with the flu, fresh. And that's one of the ways they spread the new flus they create and manufacture. And the super flu is no exception. Most likely it was locked and loaded into the flu shot business. And the H3N2 is one of their babies. And they know it's strong enough to take out a lot of elderly people, hurt or even kill a lot of children, put a lot of adults on ventilators in the hospitals, bring back the school closings and the mask mandates, and make sure that a lot of people get long flu. Where when someone gets a super flu, there's a good chance they don't feel good after a week, or 2 weeks, or 3 weeks, or even a month later, and sometimes even a year later. Medical Medium Information was the first to talk about how the flus break down the immune system, allowing other problems to arise, including the first to talk about how COVID did the same. The pharmaceutical industries love flus, especially hard flus, like the super flu, like the H3N2. It increases business all around. Hospitals get filled up, emergency rooms are packed, lines are out the door at the drugstores. When the strain starts to subside and it runs through enough people, autoimmune doubles, and doubles worldwide. And before we move on, and you're somebody that's like, okay, what do? I got the flu, or I want to protect myself, or a friend of mine or a family member has the flu. Let's get to it. What do we do? Medical Medium Info is all about it. Just go to Amazon and you can quickly download Brain Saver protocols. And the best flu and COVID protocols are right there at your fingertips for adults and children. The protocols include dosages and what kind of herbs, nutrients, and minerals, and antioxidants that are the best for flu and COVID. You can always bring the information to your doctor. All right, let's get back to it. One of the goals of classified medical research and science that manufacture and engineer these flu viruses is mucus production. They want the virus to create as much mucus and phlegm as possible. They don't like viruses in the flu family that create very little mucus. So when they're mutating strains in the lab during the growing period, the engineering and manufacturing, they steer away, they steer clear from the viruses that don't create enough mucus, because the goal is to have mucus in the lungs and in the sinus cavities, but not just there. They want mucus in the liver, the lymphatic system, in the stomach, in the ears, in the eyes, making it complicated, making it very difficult for the person who catches the flu. They know that the chances of someone needing to go to the hospital because of too much mucus production is going to be up there. And they know that the chances that someone's going to need a ventilator is also going to be increased. And if somebody's already sensitive to mucus production, because they deal with mucus production for other reasons, or they're sensitive when they have mucus, it gets in their way of breathing, or if they have asthma, or they don't sleep well, the industry knows that it could lead to needing medical attention. Hospital visits, doctor visits, medications, complications. So let's talk about how to minimize that mucus and why it even happens to this degree. Why does the flu even produce mucus? And how come the superflu produces a lot of mucus? How is it possible for them to engineer that? One way is that in the labs, they teach and train the viruses to feed off of the foods that they want the viruses to feed off of. To begin with, flu viruses are raised in labs in eggs. The flu virus is trained to eat eggs, chicken eggs. And that's not information that's just classified medical research in science. It's publicly known medical research in science at this point. Chicken eggs are used as an incubator to keep the viruses alive, because all viruses, including the flu virus and the COVID virus, love eggs and feed off of the undeveloped protein in eggs. Newly developed and engineered and manufactured flu viruses like the superflu that's going around now not only is raised in eggs and feeds off of eggs, but feeds off of dairy products, milk, cheese, butter, yogurt, kefir, ghee, goat's milk, goat's cheese, raw milk, raw cheese, fake cheese, real cheese, 1% milk, 2% milk, creamers, cream, dehydrated milk, Swiss cheese, cheddar cheese, American cheese, any kind of cheese, dairy products containing antibiotics, dairy products without antibiotics, free range, pasture raised, grass fed, organic, it doesn't matter, all the like. The flu virus loves it all, especially chicken eggs. And that's why chicken eggs ended up in the flu vaccine. Really interesting. Why? Why on earth would there be chicken egg inside flu vaccines? So when you get a flu shot, there is eggs in the flu shot. There is egg inside the vaccine. Nurses who are experienced know this. They know that if they're allergic to eggs, they can tell the hospital they work at that they don't want to get a flu shot because they're allergic to eggs. They're also concerned about patients coming into the hospitals because if the patient is allergic to eggs, there could be a severe reaction, which led to a lot of people who realized that there were eggs in vaccines and in the flu shot could say, hey, I really would not prefer one because I'm sensitive and allergic to eggs. I got an egg allergy. So Big Pharma caught on to this over time, and they're talking about taking eggs out of shots or taking eggs out of the flu shot, making them egg-free, so they say. Or some of the flu shots egg-free, not all of them. So why is there egg at all inside flu shots? The reason is to keep the virus alive, to keep the live flu viruses alive, not dead flu viruses, live flu viruses alive. And Big Pharma is not supposed to actually put a live virus inside those flu shots. There is never supposed to be a live virus inside the flu shots, but there is. Many times there is. And that's how the flu gets spread around. The new flus or the super flu. A subclade K is created in the lab. Chicken egg is used for its food. After it's manufactured and ready to go, it's placed into flu shots along with the undeveloped proteins of chicken egg to preserve and keep the virus strong and happy and fed. And then both the egg and the virus, the live virus, is injected into the person. The person doesn't build an antibody to that virus. The person comes down with the flu shortly after and then spreads the new H3N2. So let's go back to the mucus. If someone catches the flu and a part of their diet is milk, cheese, butter, eggs, dairy products, and even gluten, which we'll talk about in a little bit, the virus will quickly proliferate by feeding off of the dairy products and the eggs. As the virus explodes in fast production, a tremendous amount of mucus is produced. That mucus starts to fill up the lymphatic system, eventually working its way into the chest and the sinus cavities. The waste that's discharged from the flu virus after eating all of the dairy products and the eggs is highly toxic. Histamines get out of control and explode. The discharge triggers off alarm bells everywhere. The immune system is completely burdened by the discharge, by the mucus that's formed, and can't catch up to the virus and stop it in time. And then the super flu just gets away with everything. Runs strong, it runs amok, it produces fast, it goes rogue. Killer cells in the body, immune cells, can't keep up with it because it's buried under the mucus and slowed down. Sinuses and the lungs are filled up with that very thick mucus that's hard to swallow and hard to cough out. And this is how the industry behind these viruses that's engineering them and manufacturing them and releasing them wants it to be. This is by design, period. Now remember, if you're somebody worried about the flu or the super flu that's going around, got a family member or a friend affected by it, or you're just trying to protect yourself, and go to Amazon.com and get the Medical Medium Brain Saver Protocols book, full complete protocols for flu and COVID at your fingertips. Just download it off of Amazon.com. The whole reason the protocols are there so you can actually protect yourself and not have these flus control your life. So the reason why some flus, like the super flu, produces more mucus is because it's more aggressive. It's a fast eater, an aggressive feeder, and it produces larger amounts of waste. Other milder flus don't feed so aggressively and don't produce a large quantity of waste. So mucus production is cut in half or cut down almost 2/3. And it matters greatly depending on what's inside the person's body and how strong their immune system is. Medical Medium information is about rebuilding and strengthening the immune system. If someone has a stronger immune system and less viral feeding foods, like all the dairy products and the eggs and the gluten, they're going to beat that flu real fast, and it could be really mild. But most people, their immune systems are compromised. They already have symptoms and even conditions, and they already have a lot of mucus in their body. They got yellow pus inside their liver and lymphatic system. They have mucus buried deep inside their intestinal tract on the linings. They have mucus trapped in almost every organ inside the body. Deposits of egg trapped inside their liver. Tiny fragments of dairy products everywhere scattered about in the bloodstream, all through the organs. And when they get the flu virus, it takes off quick. And when the virus can take off that quick, it can trigger a high fever, usually coupled with a small cytokine storm. An overreaction because so much poison is being discharged. So much waste is being released from an aggressive feeding virus. And at the same time, the person has low zinc reserves. Low zinc reserves, or very little zinc at all, allows a cytokine storm to occur because the body gets overloaded by a lot of waste that's being discharged from the virus cells. And when so much virus is produced, it proliferates, multiplies rapidly, like the super flu does, because zinc reserves are low, the immune system is weakened, or started out weakened to begin with. Lots of waste has been discharged from out of the virus cells. This overload causes a massive fever, or a high fever that doesn't seem controllable, which is what doctors are complaining about right now with their patients, uncontrollable fevers with this new super flu. But when someone's staying away from eggs, chicken eggs, and dairy products, and even gluten, which flu viruses can also feed on, the chances of a large discharge from the virus, a feeding frenzy, is minimized. So the super flu isn't able to create such high fevers long term, like what's being reported out there. 7-day fevers even 9-day fevers. And then 2 to 3 weeks and even a month later, night sweats every single night where their sheets are drenched and soaked. High fevers are hard on the adrenal glands, which is exactly why they're designed this way. Superflus like H3N2 are purposely designed to weaken adrenals. They're also engineering these flus in a way to become resistant to high fever, meaning resistance to high temperatures in the body. Because a high fever is supposed to kill off the virus. It's supposed to kill off the flu, which is one of the reasons the fever sticks around so long with the H3N2. It was engineered to withstand higher temperatures, so the body ups the fever to try to kill off the virus. These are all the makings of the classified medical research and science world with their engineering and manufacturing of flu viruses. This is their jam. This is what they love. They love chaos created by releasing these viruses out in the world. And maybe you're somebody listening and you don't really care about the details so much, or about why the virus is out there, or how it works. But the Medical Medium Podcast isn't a coffee talk podcast. It's about advanced information and unique information. It's about becoming an expert at health and the world around you, so you can best protect yourself, your family, your loved ones, your friends. So let's talk about some options and tips if you get the flu. First of all, you might want to stop eating any dairy products, milk, cheese, butter, anything around that we talked about earlier, including eggs, and even any gluten. Second of all, you might want to stop eating fat. Eating fats, overt fats. A high-fat diet, that includes anything, Mediterranean, a carnivore diet, a keto diet, they're all high in fat, including even plant-based diets, vegan diets. They can be really high in fat as well. You should keep your fats down. The reason for this is because too much fat in the bloodstream gets in the way of the immune system. And dairy products and eggs have fat in them. For example, butter. Butter thickens up the bloodstream, doesn't allow the immune cells and the killer cells and the white blood cells to do what they need to do, kill off the flu virus. The best option for when you're coming down with the flu is stop all animal products because they're high in fat. All of them. Meat, chicken, eggs, dairy products, and even fish. If you're coming down with the flu, you should not be eating a pizza with cheese on it, high in fat pizza. You should also not be eating a cheeseburger or even some grass-fed beef when you're coming down with the flu. All it does is sets the stage for the flu to stick around longer, to proliferate even stronger, to give you a heck of a time. If you're somebody on a plant-based diet, you don't want to have avocado in your diet or any kind of plant-based butters or oils or nuts and seeds. Keeping the fats out completely is critical if you're coming down with the flu, but a plant-based diet is best when you're coming down with the flu. Being plant-based while you're sick with a superflu is your best chance of healing it and getting over it and getting past it fast. This means no chicken soup. Chicken soup is one of the worst things you can do when you're sick with the flu. It's not a natural antibiotic, doesn't have antibiotics in it unless it's chicken with antibiotics in it, which is actually something that works against you because that's not the antibiotic the doctor's giving you if you go to the emergency room. It's an antibiotic for a chicken. And sure, there may be some carrots. You might have a little bit of that in there. There may be a piece of onion, sometimes a little bit of garlic. And those herbs are good for you in the chicken soup, but they're far and few and not enough. Because the fat ratio in chicken soup actually interferes with your immune system, helping you battle the virus, the flu virus. A little piece of onion won't cut it when it's in a chicken soup with all that fat. Bone broth is another bad idea if you're coming down with the flu. Too much fat gets in the way of your body's immune system from killing and hunting down that flu. And fats dehydrate the body. So a carnivore diet's the last thing you want to do if you're trying to avoid getting a flu when it's going around. Or it's the last thing you want to do while you have a flu. And that goes for any kind of meat-eating diet or animal-based diet. But like I said before, same goes for a plant-based diet too high in fat, or a vegan diet too high in fat, or a vegetarian diet which might have eggs and dairy in it as well. Just like another form of meat-eating or animal-based diet, which may also have dairy products and eggs in that. So your best bet is to be plant-based, but keep the fats low or none at all. And it's best to have the fats out completely. Now, keep in mind, in all plant foods, there's fat in all of it, a small percentage. So you're not entirely fat-free. You're just not having overt fats. You're not just having an abundance of fat, like having nuts and seeds, nut butters, oils, avocado, and fake or plant-based butters. Instead, do something like the medical medium bronchial broth or the medical medium healing broth. Fresh celery juice, fresh water with lemon in it. Check out medical medium lemon water, medical medium heavy metal detox smoothie. Continue to stay hydrated with coconut water, medical medium thyme tea, and thyme water. Or make yourself the best vegetable soup that you like and enjoy, but keep the fats out of it. Put onions and garlic in there, and even some ginger. Use some honey in your herbal teas and add ginger anywhere you'd like. Yeah, no, where am I? I'm in the ER. Hey, thanks for picking up. Yeah, I'm trying to be quiet a little bit. I'm next to a bunch of people here in the ER. Yeah, I'm in the ER waiting room, in the emergency room. Yeah, I'm just waiting for my number to be called. Yeah, I'm just waiting for them to tell me. I already talked to the lady. I gave her all my information. Yeah, I think this woman next to me has the super flu because she's been coughing and she said she thinks she has the super flu. Yeah, I know. Well, I'm just doing lots of chicken soup, and I had a couple of hard-boiled eggs this morning. Yeah, and I can't wait to feel better because I'm really looking for a good cheese pizza with some pepperoni. Yeah, no, I know. I just haven't. I just got my cough going. After I leave the emergency room with some medication, I might go get a cheeseburger. It's at a place where, you don't have to have the bun. You can just have the burger and a little bit of good cheese on it. They have the good cheese. Yeah, real cheese. Yeah, no, and I had some coffee with some milk in it this morning, and yeah, the mucus is it's like overloading here. Yeah, no, I know, and should I just stay with the chicken noodle soup? Okay, I think they're wheat noodles. Yeah, no, I don't think they're gluten free. No. Oh, the chicken's like a antibiotic, I hear. That's what chicken is. All right. Okay, they're calling me now. Let me get in there. Okay, bye. It's terrible, really. I mean, they release these flus out in the environment. They want people to get them. Who's they? Classified medical research and science, of course. They don't care how sick people get. People with asthma, people with autoimmune. They don't care how people get when they get all that congestion. They're coughing, they lose work. I mean, it's a really sad world for so many reasons. And they release these bugs to shake up the political environment. And I'm sure this isn't going to be the only bug coming down the pike. This is just the start. This one's a little more aggressive than the normal flus. They say 50% of the people who get it end up in the hospitals, needing medical attention. And just like they released COVID back at the end of 2019 to try to alter the political world, they're doing it again. They know these flus destroy the economy, but yet make the pharmaceutical industry richer. They use these flus to try to knock out the people who are much older, people in the 80s, 90s. They also put these flus out to hurt young people who are compromised, young children who have compromised immune systems. It's outright just evil. Plain and simple, it's evil. They have been manipulating these viruses and bugs for over 100 years now and using them to shape and change the world in any way they can. This super flu is just one of many to come. And I know there's a lot of issues with mask wearing. A lot of people have a lot of PTSD because of the mask mandates back in the day, 5 years ago. And I know that certain people in political parties, they're totally against the masks. But if I was on a plane right now, I'd be wearing a mask. And if I was in a busy airport right now, I'd be wearing a mask. And if I was in the hospital visiting a friend right now, I'd be wearing a mask. Believe it or not, it really does help. By no means is it foolproof, but it really does help. And listen, we can have control over bugs like these. We have the tools. Our bodies are fighting machines. Our immune systems are strong. We just have to give our body what it needs. And God knows how evil the industries are. And God has given us the ability to fight and the ability to heal. Even against these pathogens, the light will win in the end.
Original published medical medium information gets stolen and poached by podcast doctors, social media doctors, influencers, and medical clinics. Medical medium information has never yet been proven wrong by medical science and research. Instead, the opposite, only proven right and then taken from medical medium published material and used in the conventional and alternative health communities. Medical medium information continually sets the stage for medical science to understand chronic illness better. If you choose to share or use the original, unique content from the Medical Medium podcast, books, or Medical Medium social media, please cite where this information comes from, so others who see and learn of this information have a chance to know where it all originates, to give them an opportunity to heal, so they don't end up losing years of their life searching for answers like so many have before them. The Medical Medium information here on this podcast doesn't come from broken science, interest groups, medical funding with strings attached, botched research, lobbyists, internal kickbacks, persuaded belief systems, private panels of influencers, health field payoffs, trendy traps, or gathered bits and pieces of gimmicky confusion. Because chronic illness is exploding like never before in our modern day history, it takes a greater force than us down here. It takes a helping hand from above. Medical medium information has street cred. It's an organic movement of countless people around the world healing. More healing stories of real people not being paid to tell their life-changing experiences of rising out of the ashes of sickness and entering into the light of full recovery, getting their lives back and finally healing when nothing else in the world of health could move the needle and get them better. The information on this podcast is not man-made. It comes from above, from a higher source. Whatever you believe in, whether God, the universe, the light, or the creator, or if you believe in nothing at all, that we're just floating through space together on this rock. Know that the information you hear on this podcast is separate from all the other noise out there. It comes from a different place, a pure, untampered with, advanced, clean, uncorrupted, original, primary source, a higher source, spirit of compassion.